that we're always going to do our best. Always do your best. Doing your best sounds easy enough, doesn't it? Just do your best and that'll be fine. Isn't that what your parents tell you? Isn't that what your parents told you if you're an adult in here? Just do your best, you'll be fine. Isn't that what your teachers told you right before the quiz? Hey, just do your best. I don't know about you, but I've learned very early on that doing my best was not good enough. Did y'all learn that like I did? Doing your best didn't always work out fine for me. At least it wasn't fine when someone else's best was better than mine. When someone else's best is better than your best, it starts to hit home. It really starts to grind on you. If someone else could say the alphabet faster, someone else colored in the lines a little bit better than you did, they could sing melody in perfect pitch, they could hit the ball farther, they could throw harder, their best was always just a little bit better than my best. Maybe that's you here today. At that point, it became a matter of not me doing my best, but me being able to do their best. For many of us, an activity that had been great fun up until then suddenly became a burden. Singing and playing and reading weren't quite as fun, weren't quite as enjoyable when you realized so many people could do it so much better than you. I've done my best, and my best isn't good enough. Always some goal that's just out of reach. Just out of reach for you and for me. Someone else has accomplished it because there's someone better. And then there's always someone there to remind you, you know, if you really, right? Emphasis on really. If you really did your best, you could get there. You could achieve that goal. You could be just as good as them. And you may dig down even more. You may try even harder. You may dedicate yourself like you never have before to try to achieve that thing and still fall short. And then what happens? You have to hear the worst statement of all. This is the lamest statement I think I've ever heard. I hated hearing it. Well, at least you tried. Oh, I hate that. Again, just another reminder that your best isn't good enough. Fortunately, we grow up. We discover what we are good at. We're all good at something. We realize our strengths and excel at those things. We also learn to remove ourselves from things that present problems, that might import some new failure. We learn to avoid those things that we don't think we'll be good at. Excel at the things we are. And though many of us have achieved some level of success, again, as you grow older and begin to figure things out, you achieve some success at work, some success in your family. You achieve a level of success maybe in your recreational activities. Even though you achieve some level of success, my guess is that we all have that thing. The reading class. We all have that memory when it hit home that your best was never going to be the best. Ecclesiastes 9, beginning in verse 10, whatever presents itself for you to do, do it with all your might, because there is no work or planning or knowledge or skill in the grave where you're going. Whatever presents itself. I like that. Whatever presents itself. What presents itself to you today? Maybe your filing status. You know, you're married, you're single, looking, not looking, divorced. What's your filing status? How many dependents do you have? It's another thing that's presented itself. I have kids. They're present in my life. What's your current job? Who are your current creditors? What are your current forms of recreation? What has presented itself in your life? Because the Bible says whatever is there, whatever, that's what you've got to deal with. And when you deal with that, do the very best you can. Second part of that verse, for you to do, right? Whatever presents itself for you to do, do it with all your might. You and your, singular. Life is not about everyone else's best. What I didn't realize at 7 years old in the second grade that those 14 others that were in the smart reading group weren't any better than me. In a different place, presence, the Bible just said. What had presented itself to them hadn't presented itself to me at the time. My only responsibility was to do my best when me and that one other girl were in front of that teacher reading. All I had to do was my best. If I had never caught up, but I didn't have to do their best. I'm just responsible before God to do my best for what presents itself to me. I don't believe it was God's intention for our lives to be a perpetual competition. It wasn't me against them. It's not you against me. It's not us against each other, always competing. A lot of times we find ourselves in competition for a mate. Maybe you're here today and you're competing for a new client. You're competing for a bid at work. Listen, when you're in a competition, do your best to compete. But life's not a competition. Not any and every little thing you do has to be a competition with someone else. What I want us to realize today is that God only wants us to do our best. Ecclesiastes 9 tells us plainly, whatever presents itself to you, you do your best. Period. That's it. End of story. When we can look back on the day, any day, a day, and truly say that we did our best, we can be happy and at peace with ourselves and with God.